Hello and welcome guys and welcome to this short vlog, and in this particular vlog we are going to discuss about how to present your paper well in the examination so as to earn good number of marks. I believe it's absolutely my earnest experience and has been my observation in past examinations also. Presentation can give you additional 10 marks. Yes, just by changing presentation a little bit, just by knowing about the common mistakes that you do while writing the paper, just by doing some things, you can extra gain 10 marks in each of the subjects. That has been my experience, that has been my observation. So just to share this observation with all of you guys, I'm here with one of my students' answer sheet, and I feel that his presentation was absolutely perfect with respect to theoretical and practical portions. I've taken paper of corporate accounting and auditing so that we can deal with the presentation of both practical as well as theoretical subjects. So this paper is going to be an ideal way in discussing what presentation mistakes do you make and what presentation benefits or what presentation positives shall you follow. This student has scored 81 marks in corporate accounting and audit. First and foremost, start each of the answer from a fresh page by giving this title. Title should be like this: Section A. Section A is the MCQs. So in the MCQs, just write your chosen option and also write the answer, which is actually the answer. Write both the things clearly. If the question is for 2 marks, say, a higher percentage, and if you want to write a line of description, then write it. Then leave one line, okay? Please don't write without leaving space. Leave one line, and each of the parts, each of the sub parts should be in a separate line after leaving one line. So please remember to have proper spacing while answering your MCQs. So this is how you should answer your MCQs. And yes, after that, if page is left, leave it blank. Do not try to start a new question or answer from this particular half page. New question will start from the next page. You should prominently write answer to question number 2, solution to A. You should prominently write in the center of the answer sheet, okay? And then you should start your answer. Of course, if it's a practical question, like this is a practical question, you have to write a heading, what are you trying to compute? And then you have to show your computation clearly, legibly, with proper spacing. Spacing is the key, okay? Don't try to, save paper. This is not the right forum to save paper. Saving paper is definitely a good virtue, but this is not the right forum to save paper. You have to write legibly. You have to write giving adequate space. After each part, leave one line. After each part, you should leave one line, okay? Then headings are very, very important. Formula should be written separately, and it should be, very much visible. It should be highlighted properly. And one more addition, which I would definitely, ask you to do. Always put a square, put a box around your answer. Whatever is your final answer, put a box and write over here answer. That will help the examiner to know what is your ultimate answer. So this is the answer. Just put it in a box and write answer over here. So the examiner is absolutely clear where is your answer. And yes, leave the sheet blank after each part. Solution to question number 2B. Same guys, computation of liability of each underwriter. Proper scale to be used for lines, okay? Proper scale to be used. Use scales for the line. Do not write, do not just make lines by your hand which are shaky, which are not accurate. So use scale. Small scale should be there with you to really put lines, okay? And this is how the presentation needs to be done. And whatever is your last answer, just highlight it in a box. Box can be made using pencil. Do not use red, pink, violet, magenta, yellow, orange kind of colors. Only 2 colors are permitted, black and blue. That's it. No other color is permitted in the examination. Okay. So this is how, and these are general entries which this student has created. Beautifully he has put all the lines using scale. Then narrations are within the bracket. Adequate spacing, date, and presentation is absolutely perfect. Yes, try to avoid cutting. Cutting should always be avoided. Okay, this is how presentation is required to be done. Now, I would have appreciated if one line would have been left after this particular portion completed. But nonetheless, working note is given clearly and legibly. Adequate spacing after each of the parts. That is how you really need to. And space, if it's not used, leave it blank. Answers to be given at the end once, so that the examiner is able to understand that yes, this is the answer. It is to be given at the end once. Okay. This is the presentation. Yes, solution to question number 4b. This is how presentation is required to be done. Now let us come on to the theory portion, because many students are confused about, sir, how to write answers in theory. So this is audit solution to question number 6a. Now, one very important thing which students miss out is, sir, in theory we should write brief answers. No, you shouldn't write brief answers in theory. It depends what is the level of marks which are there allotted to that particular question. If the marks are 8, you cannot write a brief answer. You have to write a complete answer. A lengthy answer is required. So how to determine what is lengthy and what's not lengthy? So I'll give you a trick. Okay, 1 mark in the examination is equal to 1.8 minutes. So if you have to write for a 2 marks question, then you have to continuously write for 3.6 minutes. You should constantly write for 3.6 minutes if it's a 2 mark question. If it's a 4 mark question, then 4 multiplied by 1.8 minutes. So you have to write a detailed answer, guys. Every answer cannot be brief. And do not just write headings. Along with headings, you have to write the explanation as well, and that too in complete statements. Complete statements are required to be mentioned in your answer. Complete statements, not cryptic statements or short statements. Complete statements are required. So it's really important to first of all write the headings properly, underline them. Underlining is important. Then write a 1 line or 2 line description after every heading. Okay, if it deserves, if that kind of attention and marks are there for this particular. So he's written, just see how beautifully he's drafted his answer, and it is quite detailed. Okay, it's not brief. Idea is not to write everything which is brief. No, idea is to write appropriately. Shouldn't be brief, shouldn't be too lengthy. Should be what the marks determine or what the marks demand. Okay, again, solution to question number 6b, write this kind of a heading in center, and then you continue with your answer like this. Okay, so this is how theoretical questions are required to be written. Adequate spacing after each of the parts. Adequate spacings are required to be left. Your answers should be legible. Handwriting should be good enough, so that the examiner is not struggling with understanding what are the things that you're trying to write. Again, solution to 8b, pointers, heading, pointers. Okay, sir. Conclusion. So conclusion is absolutely required in questions which are specially this is collision, but conclusions are required in questions which are related to case law. So if you are dealing with theoretical subject like law, answers are to be written into 3 parts. First, the provision of law. Second, the case, the fact of the case, and third is the conclusion. These 3 paragraphs are essential in case of law. So while you are writing theory with respect to law, these 3 separate paragraphs are required to be written. So yes, this is how presentation is required to be done in the examination. No jazz. Okay, nothing which is very complicated or very different, or using multiple colors or using diagrams. No, there's no need to make diagrams in the paper, because the examiner is not going to study your diagrams, not going to even see your diagrams. So diagrams are not required. So you don't have to make any diagrams in the paper. You don't have to really make any pictures or some caricatures in the paper. Not required at all. Examiner is not going to see your diagrams. Examiner is not going to even have a glance at your diagrams. So no need to look at create diagrams in the paper. You just have to be very clear about your answer. Write it well. Write all the paragraphs, numbering and the underlining really well, so that the examiner is able to really check your paper well and facilitate him in checking paper well by underlining or highlighting the important parts of your answer, which he should read. Okay, that is the important key to gaining good marks in the examination. And yes, it's my belief and it's my experience that 10 additional marks can be fetched by you in each subject if you present your answers well. And just imagine, 10 marks each subject means 8 papers, 80 extra marks in all the papers. So yes, please follow these tips and tricks. If you have any further questions regarding presentation, please do mention in the comment section below and do tell me for the upcoming examination. How many hours of study are you undertaking right now? On that positive note, all the very best and happy studying.